Ay. Otra vez. Come here. Let me say something. I remember Tampa, the way she used to be, the places we would run to, the faces we would see. Yes, I remember Tampa, those precious memories, a city rising on the move, a simple yet progressive groove. I remember Tampa, and she remembers me. Yeah. She remembers me.
Welcome to the Tampa Natives Show. Stay tuned now for the fastest 60 minutes in cable broadcast history. Live from the studios at TVCN, the home of the Tampa Natives Show. Join your host, Mario Nunez, as he celebrates growing up in Tampa. From Shock Armstrong to Shakey's Pizza, from Braddock Street to Buffalo Avenue. Get ready to call in and tell us your stories, because sharing your memories has never been this much fun. And now, your host, Mario Nunez.
She remembers me.
Hi, Tampa Native Show fans. Mario Nunez here, seated alongside my broadcast partner. Nobody tonight, because it's just me, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what? Tonight we've got an action-packed 60-minute, actually 59 minutes on the broadcast schedule, show for you in store. We've been talking about it a little bit this week. Tonight is your opportunity, Tampa Natives, those of you watching that have been watching forever and ever, amen, to call in tonight to sound off. Why would you want to call in tonight? Well, for a lot of reasons. First of all, I've got this microphone on the desk right here, and it looks pretty cool, and I'm talking into it. And it's kind of a different look and feel tonight for the show. I've got my beard on. I've got my hat on, my holiday sign in place. I mean, look, tonight is your night, Tampa Natives, to call in, sound off, tell us what's on your mind. I've got a list of topics here that we can discuss if things get a little slow. We've also got some videos that we can go to, certainly, to fill a little bit of time, and some that we're just going to show because they're outstanding and hilarious, and you need to see them. Some you haven't seen in quite some time. Remember, as always, here on the Tampa Native Show, we don't mind giving away some merchandise, some merch, as they say in the business. And tonight, as you call in to share your stories, to sound off, tell us what's on your mind, tell us what's bugging you, tell us what you're happy about. It doesn't have to be a sad story. It could be something that happened to you over the holidays that's good and exciting. We want to hear about that as well. Mostly we want to hear from you. Those of you that have never called or that have called once and it's been 3 years ago, tonight's your night to call in. And when you do, make sure that you give us your lucky bolita number, your lucky number between 1 and 75, so that we can record it. And at the end of the night, we will draw numbers from the little lucky grab bag here, the little bolita bag, and we will give away one of these Tampa Native Show shirts. Pretty cool. And no self-respecting Tampa Native Show fan would want to be caught without one of these at your neighborhood Publix. Right there. Tampa Native Show. And on the back, it's pretty cool. It says right there, production crew. So if you'd like to win one of these, be sure you call us this evening as we solicit for your phone calls, and go ahead and tell us, you know, what's bugging you. I've got a little sign. There's a sign right there on the table. I've got a little list of topics here. Before I get to the list, let me remind you that on New Year's Eve, this New Year's Eve, which is just about 3 weeks away, at Bucket's Tavern and Tap, I've mentioned that place a couple, 3 times on this show, and I think it's good time that Bucket's Tavern and Tap might consider being a sponsor of the Tampa Native Show, as much pub as they're getting here. Cuckoo, our favorite band, our house band, if you want to look at it that way, they're going to be performing on New Year's Eve. The house is going to fill up. It's going to sell out. And if you'd like to participate, you'd like to be a part of that, look, I get it. I understand. New Year's Eve is not necessarily something that everybody wants to go out. I mean, things are kind of crazy right now. We'll get to that in just a few minutes. Look what happened yesterday in San Bernardino. I get it. But we can't stop living our lives, and we can't stop celebrating life. So if you'd like to celebrate with a bunch of good folks and hear some wonderful music, music repertoire from the 60s, Rodney Justo, Robin Sibukow, Roy Garcia, Roger Stephan, and Danny George, all of whom make up Cuckoo Cuckoo, and you want to be with us, that's New Year's Eve, Buckets Tavern and Tap right there in Citrus Park on Gun Highway. Hey, join us. Also, let me remind you that we've only got 2 weeks coming up after tonight. Tonight's show is the 3rd. Then next week's show is the 10th. The following week is the 17th. And as luck would have it, Christmas Eve this year, Noche Buena for those of you that grew up in Ybor City and West Tampa, is on the 24th, which is a Thursday, which means this place ain't going to be open. So there'll be no live broadcast on the 24th. And then the 31st, New Year's Eve, there'll be no broadcast here as well that night. So we've only got 3 shows left here in this year, and we want to hear from you. Next week, I welcome in studio with me Dr. Dennis Popello and Lynn Marvin Dingfelder. You know, Lynn Marvin Dingfelder has recently taken upon herself to become an Emmy Award-winning documentarian. Last year, about this time, the Florida State Emmy Award Association for Documentaries and for Broadcasting recognized her for her JFK documentary, which a lot of you remember 2 years ago. And so she's been off and running ever since. She's got a documentary now that's being produced and finishing up on the Dennis Popello and the Rockers, the fabulous Rockers from the 1950s and 60s here in Tampa. She's also got one in the works, Richard Gunsmart, Goody Goody Restaurants. She's going to be with us next week, as well as Dr. Popello, to talk about their documentary. We'll show some clips. Hopefully, she'll let us show some clips from that. We don't want to give too much away, and we'll be taking your calls as well. The following week will be the last week of this broadcast season, of the broadcast year. We're not quite sure exactly what we're going to do. I can tell you this. It's going to be very, very special, and we may have some very, very special announcements to make at that time as to what's coming around the corner in 2016. 2016 is going to be a breakout year for the Tampa Natives Show. I have a sneaky suspicion. We've got big things in mind, big things in store for all of our sponsors out there. That's going to mean more value to you as well. So, our fans, get ready to call in tonight and share with us what's on your mind. If you want to share with us something that's happened, you know, look, okay, let's drill right down and talk about it up at the top. The world right now is spinning all kinds of crazy ways. That little incident that happened in Paris 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, fresh on our mind, and then follow that up with the incident that happened yesterday in San Bernardino, and there was another one just before San Bernardino that escapes me. The protests in Chicago that are taking place right now, I mean, yeah, that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with Tampa per se, but it does have to do with the global community and certainly the national community here in the United States. And you know, we are all citizens of that country for sure. I just got to say that that's one thing that I'd like to talk about a little bit later in the show. Maybe get your take on it as well. I'm sure glad that I grew up in Tampa when I did. I'm sure glad that I had the experience growing up here that I had, thanks in great part to my parents, my family, my friends. You know, it was a better time, unequivocally. It was safe. It was fun. There weren't that many people here. You could negotiate the city streets without much problems. A kid could ride his bike just about anywhere and be safe. It was just a lot more fun. The stress that we have on our backs today, not just because everything's so expensive, but because of the craziness that's going on, you know, it's taken everything, it's taken a little bit of the shine, a little bit of the bloom off the rose. So if you'd like to share your thoughts on that, that's good. I've got some other topics here I'm going to share with you before we open up the phone lines. Things like stopping the TBX. We talked about that a few weeks ago with Matthew Suarez and Michelle Cookman. You know, that's coming up again, too. We've got an opportunity to express ourselves on Tuesday. The TBX, for those of you that may not know, that's a highway expansion program that the governor is all on board with, and apparently our mayor as well. That's going to see to it that they not only expand I-275 and I-4, you know, But they're also going to create, they're going to take away some of our historic buildings, certainly our landmarks, and they're also going to create some high-priced tollway lanes. It's going to make it really, really, it's not going to, in any way, shape, or form, make traffic any better for us to get around the city. It's just going to make it more expensive. $9 billion worth of taxpayer boondoggle. If you want to talk about that, if you want to talk about gun control, I mentioned that a little bit earlier. If you want to talk about happy holidays, happy holidays. Okay, we can talk about that all day long. TV and film production, that came to mind here recently as the reports come trickling in from just north in Brunswick, Georgia, where they're filming right now Live by Night and building a replica set of Ybor City because we couldn't get that filming to take place here in spite of the fact that Ben Affleck wanted to be here, and Ybor City is featured prominently in that video, in that film. If you want to talk about that, we can certainly do that. David Price, does anybody know what that's all about? David Price signing for $217 million to go play for the arch rival Boston Red Sox. That's on my mind. David, what were you thinking? Hey, university football playoff systems. The university football playoff systems. Really? A 5-6 team is going to a bowl game? That's on my mind. The weather. It's 83 degrees, December 3rd. I'd like to know how you can feel Christmas spirit with that going on. Hey, facial hair or no facial hair? What do you think, guys? You like it? You don't like it? I like it. My mom likes it. She don't care anything for facial hair, to be honest with you. Let's talk about gas prices. Let's talk about oil prices. Let's talk about anything that's on your mind and something that you want to get off your chest. Or, again, it doesn't necessarily have to be something that's a negative. If you've recently had a reunion with a family member that you haven't seen for a long time, if you had a birth of a child in the family, if your family has grown, something. If you want to celebrate something, that's okay too. Call us and tell us about that. Mostly we want to hear from you. And when? Right after we present one video to sort of get you in the mood. This was a video that, Becky, I think we want to show. Let's talk about the mom and pop businesses of Tampa for just a minute, okay? And that's something that we celebrate here on the Tampa Natives Show all the time. The history of Tampa, certainly, when Tampa was very small, when everybody knew everybody. And Steve Cannella put together a nice little video for us as we celebrated on a previous show the mom and pop businesses that were all throughout the city, Ybor City, Sulphur Springs, South Tampa, before the big box stores came into existence, before they dominated the landscape. We had the local stores, the sundries, the convenience stores, the hardware stores, the drug stores, the ice cream parlors, the hobby shops. The staples of yesteryear was a place in my neighborhood called Hook and Holsinger's, where you went to get your office supplies. All of these were run by families. And that, I think, lent itself to making Tampa feel more familial and feel very, very special and close-knit. That's what we celebrate here on the Tampa Natives Show. We put together a little video montage. We want to show it to you now. Before we go to the video, let me give you the phone number so you can get ready to call in. You can start loading the phone lines now. We only have 2 lines. You know that if you're a regular watcher, a regular viewer of the Tampa Natives Show. So call in now. Here's the number on your screen. It's 813-977-6800. Thank you, Becky, for putting that right up there. 813-977-6800. Operators, actually our operator, the 15-minute girl, is standing by to take your call. So call in. Let us hear from you. In the meantime, please, by all means, enjoy this video, about 3 minutes long. Really, really great video with some tremendous images of yesteryear. Mom and pop businesses gone but not forgotten. I like that. I like that a lot. And I like that snazzy little, jazzy little number that Steve put on that soundtrack there. So just to get your appetite whetted a little bit while we're loading up the phone lines here, let me pick a topic here and I'll drill down just gently, not too much, but just gently, whilst you guys are thinking about what you want to discuss this evening. I'd like to talk a little bit. I'm going to start off with that list that I just read because it's something that's kind of on my mind. You know, having been born and raised in Tampa and being a third, fourth generation Tampeño, who among us didn't play Little League growing up here in Tampa? We've talked about that here on the show many, many times. Baseball is a part of our culture. Baseball is a part of who we are. And in great part, besides cigars, certainly, kind of an identifier, you know, because baseball with Al Lopez, dating back to the 1920s and 30s, really kind of put us on the map. So we owe a debt of gratitude to baseball. And, you know, for most of us, a lot of us, a lot of our best times were spent on the ball field in youth ball here in Tampa. So I guess baseball being on my mind, let me ask about David Price. Anybody have an opinion out there watching tonight about David Price? What would have possessed him? Well, certainly he had about 217 million excuses why baseball and Boston and everything else came into play. I'm just guessing that, you know, when somebody's waving that kind of guaranteed income in front of you, how do you say no? In spite of the fact that Boston is in the same division with us, in spite of the fact that, you know, we're going to have to see them how many times a year? Probably 20 games, 18, 20 games, here, there. It's really, really, really tough to go to Tropicana Field on any given night. Even worse when the Boston Red Sox come to town. And now that we've got to face David Price wearing that uniform, I don't know. It seems unbearable. I don't blame him. I mean, you're going to take that kind of money when it's offered to you. Do I wish that he hadn't gone to the Boston Red Sox? Yeah, sure. But that wasn't the case. So, you know, we can only wish him well. A lot of my friends are commenting that, hey, David can't win in the postseason. He hasn't proven that he can yet. And maybe that's the chink in his armor, and maybe that's what will keep him ultimately from achieving the greatest success. Be that as it may, he's going to get paid. And we're going to have to endure watching him do it in a Boston Red Sox uniform. Anybody else out there feel the way I feel about that? I just wish David had never left Tampa. You know, he went to Detroit, ultimately on his way to Toronto, and now he seems like he's 100 million light years away from what he was when he was here in Tampa. I don't know. That's just a sense that I get. Do you feel the same way? I feel like he's, you know, Tampa's well in his rearview mirror. He's had 2 uniform changes and now a third one since Tampa. And, you know, this is where he broke into the league. This is, you know, where he was born, so to speak, in Major League Baseball. So we wish him well. We're not going to say we hope that he doesn't have success because he's a good guy. He's the same guy. He's not going to change the temperament of the Boston fans. He's not going to make Boston, the team, any more palatable for us to have to watch them play. But maybe when he does take the mound, you know, we can watch him with a little bit of pride knowing that we had him here all to ourselves for a minute, and he helped us get to the World Series, and he did give us some great, great moments. So, David, good on you. Hey, do well, only not against us when you come here to town. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Happy Holidays. How about Happy Holidays? Anybody else out there frustrated like me? We left the house at the same time we always do every week to come to the show. Tonight we got here, about almost a little bit after 6 o'clock. The traffic, unbelievable. The darkness fell upon us early. We got to the studio, it was already dark, which is kind of odd for us because we typically get here, it's still daylight, and then we go outside and it's dark. Okay, we can deal with that. We're used to that. But to get here at nightfall was a little bit weird. Then the traffic is horrific. Add to it all the lane changes and the Bob's barricades and the blinking lights, and then a little bit of rain mixed on top of that. I don't know. I'm not ready to say bah humbug. I'm not ready to say, so what about the holidays? But it's getting more and more difficult to celebrate the holidays. Extract the religion from the conversation for just a minute, but just the whole experience of having to go shopping and get to the malls or get to the stores, and we've all seen the calamities that Black Friday brings. We've seen the videos. I'm wondering what is happening to civility, what's happening to our good sense, that we will run over each other, we'll kick, stab, fight each other for, to save a few bucks. I don't know about that. I mean, it almost makes you want to be the anti-Christmas guy or gal and say, you know what, man, I'm gonna order a couple things online, and to the people that are closest to me, maybe I'll just, I'll give them gifts. We'll have a little gift exchange. But the whole fun thing about Christmas, like it was when we were kids, when Tampa was back in those early days, that's changed considerably. It just doesn't, it feels almost icky. And if anybody wants to dispute me on that, I would love to hear from you. I mean, if there's somebody out there that's right now basking in the glow of another holiday season for other reasons, share that with me. And give me a call at 813-977-6800. Tell me what you feel. But I can tell you, from where I sit, very little excites me about the holidays anymore, other than let's just try to manage the stress and get through it. Because so many people go out of their way to spend money they don't have, to buy gifts for people they're marginally interested in caring about that much. And then, really and truthfully, what's the return? You pay for that gift all year, you put yourself in hock, you go into arrears. If you have a business, the holiday season is good for you because you get the opportunity to present more sales and gift baskets and all that. But somewhere in that translation, we've lost our way. So that's my commentary on happy holidays. I don't know how happy it is for the people today in San Bernardino, to be honest with you. All right. That's my take on the holidays. All right, so I've got over here on my list of things, it says here, gas prices, oil prices. Why did I put gas prices, oil prices? Because look, I'm perplexed. I'm not saying that I'm the smartest guy in the world, but I'm saying that, I got a pretty good handle on things, but then there are some things that just throw me completely for a loop. Like, why is everything, and I mean everything, so expensive? I don't know. I don't have the answers. When Richard Gunsmart was on the show, he also mentioned that he didn't understand, quite honestly, why things are the way they are, because, a pound of sugar is still a pound of sugar. A gallon of milk is still a gallon of milk. A yellow rice and chicken, a plate full of yellow rice and chicken, it's the same yellow rice and chicken that our grandparents ate in the 1940s. Why are things so expensive? I mean, oil prices right now are at an all-time low. They've below $40 a barrel it reached just the other day, the day before yesterday. I did some research in 1981 when oil reached $40 on the way up, not down to $40 a barrel, but up to $40 a barrel. Gas prices were $1.39, $1.30 a gallon. Now we celebrate $1.95 a gallon. Like, if that's good shakes, that's good things. It's the same $40 that we're paying for the. So you know what I mean? I'm just trying to figure things out. I don't understand why people balk and complain about $15 an hour for a minimum wage employee working anywhere in the service industry or in the fast food industry or at what most people would arguably consider to be a menial job. But Really and truthfully, with things as expensive as they are, you can't make it on $7 an hour. This isn't Tampa of the 1960s. Median income in the 1960s was about $8,700. A home cost about $16,000 average in 1960. So, we got to take everything into consideration. But how much of this has been artificially inflated and how much of this is just manipulated because they can? So, on my mind, tonight is Sound Off, Tampa Natives. That's on my mind. It's incredibly, incredibly difficult. I've got children. Most of us have grandchildren, children that, we wonder, how can they make it, man? How can they make it without stressing themselves out and having to work 2 or 3 jobs? And then the holiday season is upon us. Hey, we've got a caller on line 4. Let me go and see who's there because I can't wait to talk to this person. Hey, caller, you're on the air with the Tampa Natives Show. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Matilda Roman.
Oh, this is Matt Roman. Hi, Matt.
Hi, who's this?
This is Mario Nunez. Who else is it going to be?
Oh, well, Mario, I am in so much of an agreement when you say the holidays. The only exception that I have is that I do not I dislike the word holiday because to me it is still and always will be Christmas. And to me, Christmas is the birth of Christ, and those that want to celebrate it should be celebrating in any way and form that they want. But those that do not believe in Christmas, that's not their holiday. They have a right, and we respect that. But I would hope and pray that they will respect our holiday, as they call it, our Christmas day, which is the birth of Christ.
Thank you, Matt. I agree with you 100%. Holiday, holy day. I think that's where the term came from because it's the holy days, the holidays. And, different groups have, not everybody celebrates Christmas, let's put it that way, because Hanukkah's just about to start too. So, we've got different cultures and different religions that celebrate different holy.
And that's right. But they have their celebration of Hanukkah. There's nothing wrong with that. That's their holiday. Respectfully, yes, celebrate Hanukkah. If you don't believe in Christmas, you believe in Hanukkah, celebrate Hanukkah. But if you are a Christian and you believe in Christmas and this is what you were brought and raised for, and you know that this is the birth of Christ, then this is our celebration in the same way that I respect Hanukkah or whichever other religion other people have. I would hope and pray that they will respect our Christian belief, which is the birth of Christ, and that is our Merry Christmas.
100%. Let me ask you this, because this is always something that's been a curiosity to me, and, at 57 years of age, I've had a few Christmases behind me now, and I'm thinking, the gifts were always something that kids would look forward to. As adults, we look forward to giving the gifts to our kids.
That's right.
And it just seems like now
it's just not, it is not celebrating anything but the businesses.
That's right. And that's what I was driving at, Matt. I was trying to make the point that really, 30 years ago, Christmas was already commercialized.
Yes.
So now it's almost a factor, an equation in the economic drivers of what happens here in the United States of America. In other words, when businesses are putting their plans together at the beginning of their fiscal year, they're counting on a percentage of sales in December around Christmas. They're not even considering the holiday as whether it's Christmas and the birth of Jesus or December 25th or anything that represents. They're just looking at how much can we sell during that window of opportunity. And to that end, we have gotten completely away from anything that matters, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, you know what? Another thing is, instead of just celebrating Christmas, just have a holiday, name it whatever they want, but don't just ruin like ours.
Yeah, don't ruin the birth of the baby Jesus. I get that. And maybe Seinfeld and the show Seinfeld had, maybe they had a point when they were saying Festivus for the rest of us, because it doesn't matter. it doesn't make any sense to me anymore. We've gotten way, way away from where we need to be. And what we're doing now is we're huddling in small groups, Matt, and we're celebrating kind of quietly and trying to stay out of the way, really and truthfully, because everybody else is just running over.
Yeah.
You've seen the videos of the people at the Target when they open the door at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's escándalo. People are running over people and getting hurt, getting killed. I mean, it doesn't even make any sense.
It does not. It does not go with the date.
With the that's right. With the sentiment of the date. That's exactly right. Matt, thank you so much. If there's one thing I could ask of you, and with regard to our show, what do you like about our show, Matt? What is it that makes you just, when you watch the show, smile? What does it make you smile?
I love the old time pictures.
Yes.
Love the stories of the older generation.
Sure.
It is not allowing the history of Ybor City to die. I'm an Ybor City born and bred over 4 generations.
Wonderful.
I love Ybor City, and I love everybody in it. To me, we grew up in a poor section, poor area, and the majority of the people were. And as far as Christmas was concerned, you were right. It was mostly made for the kids.
That's right.
Kids will get their little gifts. They will go to church. They were taught how to respect. And an issue of, oh my God, I wish I knew how to express it. But the idea is that we love the holidays, even though we didn't have money to buy gifts. But we all had family, and the main thing Christmas to us is the unity of family and friends, and the meals that we would prepare, because everybody would participate. Everybody had a part in it. It was such an enjoyable thing. And as far as the Tampa Native, it brings out all the things that I like, that I enjoy. I enjoy any time they see, whether it's Ybor City, whether it's West Tampa, whether it's South Tampa, but it is history. And this is what I think, and I hope, I'm not saying anything out of line, but this is what I hope Tampa Native Show is all about.
Thank you. It surely is. It surely is. And thank you for sharing that thought, because that brings the conversation back to why we do this show. Thank you, Matt. We know you love us, and we know you watch us each and every week. And, none better than Jack Espinosa. We had him on the show 3 weeks ago to explain to us about our history and how important it is. So we hope we're going to keep that history alive until we are here, and we're going to keep doing it, Matt, because we love it too.
And we love you too, honey.
Thank you. Give us your Lucky Bolita number.
17.
Oh, that's my number, Matt. Thank you so much for that, 17. Thank you, Matt.
Okay.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and we love you.
Merry Christmas to you, son.
Thank you. Bye-bye. That was Matilda Roman, ladies and gentlemen. And she's a big fan of the show, and we're so happy and fortunate to have her watching us and sharing her insight, her very keen insight. 4th generation Ybor City girl and Tampa native, certainly. We've got a caller on line 5. All right, and we've got one line open, so call us now. Uh-oh. We got a phone snafu. Uh-oh. Okay, here we go again. I know you're there, caller, because I can see you there, but I can't access line 5, and I think it may be a phone problem. Can I ask him to call back? Bunny Pierce, will you call me back? No, I just think it's the phone. It's not picking up. There she goes. She's going to call back. When it rings, I'll just pick it up in studio, and hopefully it'll be on line 4. So Matilda gave us a wonderful, she kind of brought it all back for us. She let us know why, we should celebrate Christmas, and for the reasons that we used to celebrate it. As kids, we used to celebrate Christmas. Was great. Not so great anymore. Still great. The same. You still celebrate the season and the reason for the season. But I don't know, man. They've hijacked Christmas. For me, they've hijacked Christmas. They've hijacked Easter. They've hijacked all these holidays. Caller, you're on the air with the Tampa Native Show. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
It's Bunny Pierce in Odessa.
Thank you, Bunny. I'm sorry that we had that problem with line 5. I couldn't get you in. But, hey, tell us what's on your mind, Bunny.
Well, I have a car.
Okay. Hey, Bunny's got a car. Good job. What happened to the Jeep, the truck? What happened to that thing?
It's still moldering in my front yard. I want to get the wheels swapped from one to the other.
Okay.
A comparable vehicle. But I have a new vehicle, a new-ish vehicle, and I can get around now, which is a big deal.
Of course it is. It's a big deal because we don't have any alternatives here in Tampa.
No.
Our forefathers were very nearsighted.
Not this way, we don't.
Yeah.
But I can make all the band engagements now. So
That's good because Have Drums will travel, and you got to get there, Bunny.
Yes, I know. I enjoyed your little vignette there. I saw several of my daddy's customers, Alonzo Drugs.
And then there's Hardware.
And a couple more of the drugstores.
Lastra's.
Lastra, yeah. I missed Lastra. He was tucked away in there. I saw something about.
That was the shot of Kennedy Boulevard. I think it was the shot of the John F. Kennedy motorcade heading towards MacDill, going down what was then Grand Central.
Oh, okay.
But it was taken in front there, and it was kind of quick. You had to look at it, but you could see the sign on the street said Lastra's Drugs.
Yeah, I certainly remember where it was.
Sure.
He was definitely one of Daddy's customers.
Stone's throw from Krispy Kreme.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is back. I mean, they burned down and rebuilt, which I thought was great, you know.
Yeah, they needed to, but you know, not the same donuts. Nothing's the same, Bunny. Nothing is the same, Bunny.
You mentioned Hook and Holsinger, and to this day I haven't found an office supply company I like as well.
Right?
But I was thinking, you know, it's not just the stores, it's the supplies themselves that have evolved.
Sure.
You know, and you have different kinds of supplies, and you can't find the supplies that the old familiar ones that you used to, and it's sometimes the quality is not the same.
No, the quality is not the same, and that's why I say everything has changed. And I guess it's an indication that we're getting older. We're moving further down the road. And look, I never wanted to be that guy. You know what I mean? I never wanted to be my grandfather. Hey, my pop's a nice guy. He's watching right now. I can't say anything there, but I can say that I don't want to be. I don't want to be that guy that says, you know what? It was so much better back when we were younger.
When I was young, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? It is, and it was. And the quality has diminished. I mean, you can't look.
And younger people don't realize what they're missing.
They don't realize it because they weren't there to experience it, and it's shameful. And it's shameful because, it's shameful, and it's not. And let me explain that. It is shameful, but you can understand it because you can't feed 350 million people the same way you fed 100 million people.
No.
Okay.
No.
I mean, you have to. We have a logistics problem in the United States of America, and it's not just with guns and proliferation of all that. That's a whole nother conversation. I'm just talking about, think of what a nightmare it is to feed that many people.
Oh, sure.
India understands what that's all about. Cultures like Japan and Brazil understand what that's all about. We're there now. You know, McDonald's, when we were growing up in the 60s and 70s, was still all right. You know, you got a Whopper at Burger King. It was still edible. It was semi-nutritious.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, it was an operation that was manageable. And I refer to this because Krispy Kreme, even the donuts back then, not just the size of the donut, but the quality of the ingredients in the donut.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And, of course, everybody nowadays is health conscious, so
the sugar thing is bad. I mean,
yeah.
It's not good. It's not good, and that's why Krispy Kreme, probably their stock has probably leveled off a bit, and there were some stores that opened and then closed because they would open with the fervor and the excitement of Krispy Kreme donuts because they're amazing, let's face it.
Yeah.
And then you realize, you eat one donut and it's your sugar limit for the week. Yeah. You can't sustain that. So
No.
They would open and then they would close within 6 months. Bunny, anything you want to tell us about the Tampa Natives Show that just turns you on, that gets you excited?
Well, I'm just glad you're here. I mean,
Thank
you're
you.
a wonderful sounding board for those of us who do remember Tampa the way
Sure.
it was. And it's nice to have somebody to reminisce with.
Well,
you meet all kinds of people, and a lot of them don't know what it was like back when I was growing up, and they're just too new to understand, what it was like when Tampa was a small city, and you could ride your bicycle all day long and not get into any trouble, or at least just good innocent fun.
Sure.
And as far as the small businesses go, I can remember MacDill Avenue between, say, Beta Bay and Barcelona was a nice little strip, and you had there was Palmacia Sundries, I think it was, and then Horn's Drug Store was on the corner of Granada. Smith's Dime Store was there.
See, those are family names.
Yeah, exactly.
And you went to school with the kids whose parents owned the Sundries or who owned the drugstore. You knew everybody. It was beautiful.
Right, and Nagel's Bakery, the best bakery yet.
Sure.
I've never found a bakery to equal them, including Alessi, and I like Alessi.
Of course.
And then Wadsworth's Barbershop.
There you go.
And it was just, it was almost a self-contained community.
It was. And listen, I'm going to go so far as to say, proud as we were, proud as we are, this probably happened throughout the United States of America.
Sure.
In different ways and in different manifestations across the country, because that was an indication of the time that we were living, okay?
Yeah.
But let me say it was a little more special in Tampa because we were such a small community, and we all came from the same very small number of immigrants that came here. This wasn't Chicago. This wasn't New York.
Right, and also the big business hadn't become what it is now.
Correct.
Oh, and it hadn't become so pervasive as it is now.
Correct.
You when McDonald's came down, I mean, you have one McDonald's or maybe two in town. Now it's almost like on every other corner, and same thing with CVS and Walgreens. And
they've ruined it.
They've supplanted,
They've ruined it.
Supplanted all the small.
They're everywhere, like a cancer, a growth.
What a bad time they have getting started, because there is so much competition out there.
Well,
and they're all selling the same stuff.
I'm gonna continue to be an old school guy until old school ain't cool anymore. But I'm just sorry. That's who I am. And when you meet me out in the community, look, I consider myself to be a progressive, okay?
Yes.
I know what you have to do to evolve, and you need to evolve, because if not, you become roadkill.
Yeah.
But at the same time, man, I'm going kicking and screaming, and I'm going to remember, because they say you die twice when you die. Once when you die, and once when the last person mentions your name. Well, it's the same thing can be said for memories, and the same thing can be said for our history. Our history is important to us, not to anybody else, but it's important to those of us that value our history here in Tampa. And unless we keep talking about it, people aren't going to care. We got to remind them of how important this is.
Yeah, and oral tradition is the oldest form of communication.
Of course. Before they had writing, before we knew what writing was.
It was
you spoke. The grandfathers spoke to their grandchildren and told them what the elders taught them, and that's how history was really handed down. Oh, we've got one caller waiting, Bunny. Give me your Lucky Bolita number.
All right, let's do 28.
28 it is. Thank you, Bunny. We really appreciate you always being a good fan and watching all the time.
Well, I appreciate you being here, for me to watch.
Thanks, Bunny. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and we'll see you soon.
All right.
Bye-bye. Congratulations on getting your car fixed, too. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Bye, Bunny.
Bye-bye.
All right, I'm going to try line 5 again. Caller, your light went from red to green. That means you're on the air with the Tampa Natives Show. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Ole Gonzalez from County Country.
Hey, Ole Gonzalez. Man, I know what you're going to talk about, and we're inside of 15 minutes, so I'm glad you called. Talk to me, Ole.
Well, I have two things to talk about, but the first thing is growing up in West Tampa. I was born and raised here, and what a beautiful place we live in, and we don't realize it because we live here I just think that we grew up in such a wonderful place. Our parents were such wonderful people that raised us all, and kind of that's who we are today now because of that.
Of course. Here. No argument from this host.
And we didn't have a lot.
Didn't need a lot. Didn't need a lot.
Not at all.
Yep.
Now we have a lot, and what do we got?
Nothing.
It's kind of funny.
Well, and let me just add to that real quick, Oli. It used to be that substance was the issue. Substance was what mattered. The Flash, we knew it was, it didn't last, but it was the substance that gave it the heft and the quality. And now it seems like everybody wants their 15 minutes, and everything is about flash, and the quality and the substance, which is what makes you. It's lacking, Oli. We have, like you said, everything, all the conveniences, all the iPhones and the iPads and all those jodiendas, but we don't have the good stuff that we used to have when we were kids. Tell me the second thing, Oli, because this is the important thing.
We didn't need it. We didn't need it.
No, we didn't need it. Of course we didn't need it.
No, but okay. The second
We had each other.
I want to touch upon this movie thing that we lost our incentive, our movie incentive, and all our work is going to Georgia. And this time, just my work. It's money that comes into our community, and we're losing a lot of money to Georgia because of that. We lost half of the infiltrator. We lost half of that Mrs. Pilgrim's Home of Peculiar Children, which was a Tim Burton movie.
Right, Tim Burton.
We lost a movie right after I finished The Infiltrator that was going to St. Pete. I don't know the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
It went to Georgia. That's another movie we lost. Right after that, now we have Live by Night that's going to film in Brunswick, Georgia, about Ybor City.
No, and they're recreating the set. They're building the facade. They're building Ybor City in Brunswick, Georgia. It makes no sense whatsoever. And tell us, because we talked about this, Oli, share with our audience how much money we're losing over just this short period of time.
Well, just think of when we went to do Dolphin Tales 1.
Right.
What that aquarium looked like when we got there and what it looks like now.
Right.
And that was because of the 1 and the 2 movie.
Of course.
But Brunswick, Georgia, the local businesses, and it's a small town,
Sure.
got $6 million in business. They made $6 million, over $6 million in that little community, which would have been here.
Here.
It would have been bigger because only that section is done in Brunswick, Georgia.
Right.
They're doing it somewhere else also.
Right.
But all that would have been here. It was just would have been a huge movie. I'm talking about big budget. And they would have spent a lot of money here. And just these 2 little movies of thing, I don't know. I just don't understand why they wouldn't do that.
Well, we have to stop electing politicians. We have to stop electing the politicos that don't have our interest at heart. That's at the crux of this, and that goes across the board. But because it affects you personally, because it takes money out of your pocket, food off of your table, because of your job, because what you do with the Teamsters driving for the movie and TV industry, that's personal. That's real personal. And for me, that I do a little bit of acting on the side as well, it's not helpful. We don't get the job. We don't get the opportunities to audition for some of these roles. I wanted to be a part of Live by Night, and I called the production company, and I told them, I said, listen, I called my agent. I said, I would like to work on that. I would be willing to drive up to Georgia to work and audition. I can't do it because I have a Florida driver's license, and it costs Georgia their incentives, their tax incentives.
That's right.
Because if you're out of state and they find out, it's like, you're a little league player, you're living out of district, you're disqualified. Well,
the only way you could have done that is to go to Georgia and change your license.
That's correct.
And then do it.
That's incredible. That's just incredible. And Louisiana has the same advantages that we don't have as well. New Orleans is doing, look, CSI, New Orleans, and all the movies and the TV shows that are coming out of the quarter and out of Mississippi. We should be getting all of that work here in Florida, and we're not.
That's what the Teamsters from here have to do to go work in Georgia. They have to change their license to a Georgia license in order to work and pay $500 to get on their list.
That doesn't make any sense. Oli, I have one more call that I want to get to, Papa. I'm so glad you called tonight because it's important that people know this in case they don't.
One more thing to say, and that's it.
Sure.
Listen, we need to get rid of these people that don't have our best interests in mind. There's more of us than there are of them.
Right.
We just need to vote.
Thank you, Oli. Thank you. Very, very well said. You know, it's time now for us to kind of wake up a little bit and shake off the doldrums and kind of affect change, because we're the only ones that can do it. And you know, and we know now, the proof is in that pudding, that the cake is already baked. They really don't have our best interest at heart. The TBX is a perfect illustration of that.
No.
And
Yeah, you're right about that.
And our next caller, I think, has something to say about that. Thank you, Oli. Give me your lucky number.
Number 28.
28 is taken by, 28 was taken by the previous caller. That would be Bunny Pierce. So give me another number.
Okay, 17.
Oh, my gosh, Oli, you're not watching the show. 17 was taken by Matt Roman. Go ahead, Oli.
One more time here, 24.
24 was not taken because we only had 2 callers before you, Oli. That has never happened before. That's pretty freaky
I had it
deaky.
on mute because I was on the line, so I didn't hear.
I'm going to go on the way home, and I'm going to play 2817 just for you, Oli. Thanks for calling, brother.
All right, bye-bye.
We appreciate you. Bye-bye. We've got about 5 minutes left. I've got to get this next caller. Caller, you're on the air with the Tampa Natives Show. We've got a little less than 5 minutes, but tell me what's on your mind.
Hey, Mario, it's Michelle. I was calling, and I'm so glad to hear you all talking about something I wanted to mention as well regarding those politicians. As you and your great viewers know, we in Tampa have a big fight in our hands with this horrible highway widening project, the TBX. And there is a meeting coming up next Tuesday, December 8th, at 1 p.m. is when it starts, and that is the Florida Legislative Delegation meeting. And basically what that is the Hillsborough Legislative Delegation is 14 members of the Florida Senate and the Florida House of Representatives, and they represent either all of Hillsborough County or parts of it. Mm-hmm. And once a year they have this meeting where you, the public, have an opportunity to come before them and tell them what you want them focused on. So here is an opportunity to petition your elected representatives and to let them know that you don't want TBX. You want them to make sure we get funding for transportation priorities, fix our existing roads, fund transit, the buses, some light rail, some other way to get around, and improve pedestrian and bicycle conditions. That's supposed to be their priority, not this $9 billion fiasco of TBX.
I will be there. I'm scheduled. I put myself on the schedule to speak, and I hope that many other Tampeños did the same thing. I know that they did. I know that many of us that are in the conversation have. Let's continue to beat this drum as loudly as we possibly can, because we are our only best chance. We're our only best chance to redirect their attention, and it's always the squeaky wheel that gets the grease. And you know what? If they speak louder than we do with whoever's coming in this with the money, they're going to get their way. I know that we're pushing the sled uphill. I know that we're behind the 8 ball, all those analogies. But the truth is, we got to keep fighting. Michelle, give me your lucky number between 1 and 75.
33.
33 it is, darling. Thank you so much. I will see you very soon.
Okay.
Thank you for your call, and thank you for fighting as hard as you do with the TBX. We appreciate it.
That's right. Help us out. Stop TBX.
Thanks. Thanks, Michelle.
Bye.
Thanks. TBX. StopTBX.com. We've got about 3 minutes to go. Gosh, do we have a chance to show a couple of pictures? Let's end this with a happy story. How long is that video with Steve? 2:24. We don't have time to do that. Let's go to the pictures. Look, I just want to end this with a happy show. Go picture in picture. I'll talk over the pictures. I want to end this. Yeah, I want to end this. Look at that photograph right there. That is Little Mama. Little Mama's a feral that we've talked about here on the show, who presented us August of this is 15, 14, August of 2013 with these 5 beautiful, beautiful kittens. We were able to capture them with the help of St. Francis Animal Rescue and take them over to get spayed and neutered. And we captured Mom, and we did the same thing with her. We kept 3 of those wonderful, wonderful kittens. We adopted 2 out. We moved. Little Mama was displaced. We didn't know where Little Mama went. And show the rest of the pictures. Here in the last few days, we had a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. Little Mama found us anew. We moved. She found us. I think Sally sang her to us. I put together that little table, that little wonderful kitty condo for her. And look at her there. She's beautiful. She's back with her family, and she's at home. We can't touch her. We can't pet her. That's Leo. That's one of her babies. That's the male. That's one of her males. That's Leo. The next one is going to be, I think it's going to be Mo. He's the beautiful black cat. There's Mo. And then we also have, and here he comes. This is Flacco. Look at Flacco. He's gorgeous. Thank you so much, everybody, for being there tonight with your calls. I'm going to pull a lucky winner out of the hat. If Oli wins again, I'm not going to give him the shirt because I just delivered one to him yesterday. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Closest to, without going over. What number did Oli give me? Who gave me 33? No, somebody gave me 33. I wrote 33. Michelle did. All right. Michelle Cookson is our winner. Be sure to be there with us next week when we talk about the Rockers, the fabulous, fabulous Rockers, and the documentary produced, directed by Lynn Marvin Dingfelder. Dr. Dennis Papello is going to be here to tell us all about that wonderful era of music with the Rockers back in the 50s and 60s and just relive some of that wonderful music. Listen, let me just say on behalf of everybody that puts this show together, I'm Mario Nunez. I want to say thank you for watching. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. Let's gear up and let's have a fun Christmas as well. We love you, Tampa. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
And everything seemed new. We used to have a lot of fun, yes we did. No matter what we do. Sleepy days, long summer nights, going anywhere we please. With love that I could call my own, love that I've always known. The city that I call my home, a home from which I never roam. This love affair was meant to be. I love her and she loves me. I remember Tampa, oh, she remembers me. She remembers me. I remember, yeah, yes I do. Oh, I remember, yeah, me and you. I'm a Tampa native, Tampa native, can't you see? I will share my story with you to preserve its history.
All right now, don't forget, Thursdays, 7 p.m. on TBCN, home of the Tampa Natives Show.